It is the Cubs and the Nationals on NBC Sports Chicago, home of the authentic fan, and we are back in Washington, D.C. It is a makeup game after a rainout on Sunday. The Cubs and the Nationals. Cubs lead the NL Central by 1. Great to have you with us this late Thursday afternoon of Cubs baseball. Jim DeShays and Len Casper with you. This is 24 in a row of a scheduled game without an off day, and it was a long weekend we just spent here in D.C.
Yeah, indeed it was, and when we left on Sunday, the prevailing thinking was, well, there's a hurricane headed this way. Cubs probably won't return to Washington. The hurricane changed directions. So did we. We're back. Here's what transpired when we were in town before. Thursday it didn't rain, but they played 10 innings. The Cubs won that ball game, took a 4.5 game lead over the Brewers in the division. You're thinking, okay, pretty comfortable lead. Since then, a lot of rain, a lot of sitting around, a couple of losses here, 2 more against the Brewers, and all of a sudden not comfortable at all. Just a 1-game cushion over the second-place Brewers.
And the Nationals are probably not going to make the postseason, but they're surging. They have won their last 5 in a row. They're coming off a sweep over the Phillies in Philadelphia. So coming up, it'll be the Cubs and the Nationals' final game of this season series, all tied at 3 games apiece. Mike Montgomery against Joe Ross when we come back.
NBC Sports Chicago is brought to you in part by Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Ford, who invites you to go further in their fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out our entire lineup at your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Menards, save big money at Menards. And by Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
Quickly, the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Rizzo leading off today. Bryant, Murphy moving down to third. Baez, Caratini, and Bodie in the middle. Russell, the pitcher, Montgomery, and Happ at the bottom. And Joe Ross is set to work officially his 2018 debut after Friday's game here was rained out. And Rizzo first pitch swinging with a base hit out into left center. He's going to round first and head for 2. And he's going to be out. So Rizzo first pitch swinging. Thought he had a double. But thrown out by the center fielder, Victor Robles.
Yeah, so promising off the bat. And very good throw by Robles to get Rizzo. Well, Anthony back in the leadoff spot where he's found success before. First pitch swinging. Looked like it was going to be the leadoff double, something to work with, but Robles had other ideas.
By the way, here's Chris Bryant. And he pops it up. Foul territory. Ryan Zimmerman will not have a play. The leadoff man is presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. Rizzo did get a hit, even though he got thrown out at second. So Benny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Anthony leading off for the 29th time this season.
Joe Ross is our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher, and you look at his numbers from last year. He made 13 starts, was 5-3 with a 5.01.
Zimmerman can't really find it, and then he eventually did and makes a catch. A very bright overcast sky here on this late Thursday afternoon.
I don't think there's a swing at the first pitch mandate, but that's kind of what it looks like here. 2 hitters into this ball game. Ross working his way back from Tommy John surgery and shut him down last year. The year before he had some shoulder issues. He's a talented kid, just 25. Made his debut against the Cubs back in 2015.
Pleasant day. It is humid, but it's 78 degrees. We will gladly take that here in Washington. And the main thing is it's dry. We got a little rain this morning, but no big deal.
Here are the Nationals defensively. The rookies out there, Soto and Robles left center. Harper's in right. Rendon, Turner, Sanchez, Zimmerman on the infield. Spencer Keyboom very good at shutting down the running game behind the plate, and that's brought to you by BP.
The former National Daniel Murphy fouls out of play. In that Milwaukee series, the Cubs could only muster 6 runs total. They hit 157 as a team. Rizzo and Murphy both went hitless. They combined 0 for 23.
Daniel in a 2 for 20 stretch. He's batting 194 over his last 10 games. The club is hitting just 206 over their last 6 and 231 here in the month of September. So you couple that with a struggling bullpen, and it's been hard for the Cubs to pick up W's here of late. Ross, a 3-pitch pitcher, but he leans really heavily on a fastball slider mix. Occasional the changeup.
Yeah, he was hitting mid to upper 90s in the first inning last Friday. Certainly you would understand some adrenaline in his first action in well over a calendar year.
And a lot of times, guys come back from Tommy John, they work so hard to rehab. They come back in the best shape of their lives, and you see an uptick in the velocity. When he first came into the league, his average fastball velocity was 93. Last year it was down to 91. Healthy and on top of his game, there might be a little more in there.
He kicks and fires, and Murphy fouls again. First time as a Cub. Murphy has not hit in the leadoff position. Nationals just swept the Phillies. They have won 5 in a row. Cubs have dropped 2 of 3 in each of their last 3 series. Another foul. Let's get the umpires for the makeup game. That's Pat Holberg behind the plate. Brian Knight at first, Roberto Ortiz at second, and the crew chief, Jerry Davis, is over at third. Cubs flew here from Chicago late last night. The Nationals bus back from Philadelphia. Cubs will head home after this. Nationals will fly to Atlanta. Planes, trains, and automobiles for these two teams. Left side into the grass is Rendon, the third baseman. And the Cubs do not score in the opening inning. Mike Montgomery to the mound when we come back. Averaged about 6 runs per game. Now their Southwest starting lineup. Their big prospects in the lineup today: Robles and Soto, Turner, Harper, Rendon. Pretty formidable 2-3-4. Soto has 19 home runs as a 19-year-old. Ryan Zimmerman's been terrific since coming back from the DL. Sanchez, Keyboom, and Ross 7, 8, 9.
Cubs defensively brought to you by PP. Certainly a different look today. David Bodie will get his first start in the outfield with the Cubs. He's done it a little bit as a minor leaguer. Hap center, Bryant moves over to play right. Baez, Russell, Murphy, Rizzo on the infield. Caratini behind the dish. And Alexis Experience, amazing starting pitcher, is the lefty Mike Montgomery.
First action for Mike in 9 days.
He has pitched twice since coming off the disabled list. Made a start in Atlanta, went 4 1/3, allowed 4 runs, and then back on the 4th at Milwaukee, 4 innings, 2 runs. As you check out the numbers. Fastball, he'll sink it a fair bit. He'll also cut it. Curve change, and his slider's kind of a hybrid, probably more of a cutter than a slider these days. But it's a diverse mix.
High drive out into deep right, but playable right on the edge of the track. It's Chris Bryant to get Robles.
A lot of ground balls when Mike is on his game.
With the uncertain travel situation here these last couple of days, Mike did fly with the club late last night. Here's Trey Turner, leading the majors with 37 stolen bases. And he has batted more often than any player in the National League. This is his 662nd plate appearance. And he just lined out to Russell. 2 down.
Kind of what the Cubs ran into in the ball game last night. They made a lot of hard contact, especially early in the game, off Chase Anderson. That turned into outs. Ultimately managed to score just the 1 run on 6 hits.
The last game these two teams played was late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. as the Nationals engineered a doubleheader sweep, and Harper hit the game-winning home run in the 7th inning of the nightcap off Justin Wilson. He was the National League Player of the Week last week. And he and Soto red hot. Anthony Rendon has been a doubles machine here lately too.
And
he's
Zimmerman,
on deck.
the heart of the order here. I mean, very talented group, and they're all swinging the bats well right now. So it's a big challenge for Mike here today.
The 0-1 to Harper. He showed bunt and took a strike. If he laid down a bunt toward third, it would be an easy single, but the Cubs would be glad if he did it. They're just trying to keep him from hitting the ball out of the yard. He's got 33 home runs. Walks a ton, tied with Mike Trout with 112 for the major league lead. There aren't a lot of people here. I would expect a few more to head through the turnstiles as this game moves along. In the air, Bodie in left. And nice work by Mike Montgomery. A 10-pitch 1-2-3 first inning.
And tickets still available for tomorrow's series opener with the Reds. And a reminder, tomorrow's game time is now 7:05. For details and tickets, visit Cubs.com.
We are being viewed locally, nationally, and around the globe. I want to say hi to all our viewers watching the Cubs this afternoon on Zing TV in Rensselaer, Indiana. Coast to coast on the MLB Network and around the world on the American Forces Network. Swing and a miss by Javier Baez, second inning in a scoreless tie. Cubs 1 game ahead of idle Milwaukee in the National League Central.
Javi has cooled off here of late. So, yeah, not a lot of people in the ballpark, but a lot of eyes on this very important game for the Cubs. Less so for the Nationals, but they still feel like they have a slim chance at running down the Braves. They'll leave here and play Atlanta over the weekend.
Outside for a ball. Yeah, and we wondered if Max Scherzer might make this start today on normal rest. He went the distance beating the Cubs on Saturday. He will pitch tomorrow night against Kevin Gausman in Atlanta.
On abnormal rest.
Right. think the thought here is, the Nationals are still mathematically alive. So they wanted Scherzer probably against the Braves.
Yeah, they probably feel like they have to sweep that series to have any chance at all. I mean, statistically, less than 5% chance, I would guess. But if you're Davey Martinez, it's been a tough year, and you just push on.
Sanchez will surround it. The throw to first is just in the nick of time to get Baez. Sanchez certainly known more for his glove than his bat, even though he had a good series last weekend and makes a nice play here.
Yeah, he showed us surprising power in that series here last weekend. He's jumping off his bat pretty good.
Caratini hit a grand slam in Game 2 of that doubleheader Saturday. And had a huge performance 2 days ago in the Cubs' lone victory over the Brewers. Fouled away off to the left.
Yeah, he's been swinging the bat with a little more intent lately. Really, not feeling for the ball, but just, letting it eat, as they say, turning it loose. It's just a quality bat flip with that grand slam as well. And you've got a bunch of tired guys on this roster, so why not lean on the guys who might be a little fresher because they haven't had regular playing time all year.
His best Cubs bat flip since Kosuke Fukudome. And he just got hit by a pitch. So a one-out reach for Caratini. Now David Bodie. JD mentioned he's playing left field for the first time in the big leagues. He has had reps at all 4 infield spots. Has played some outfield in the minors. A very well-rounded baseball player when he got here to the big leagues earlier this season. Hit pretty well, but right at Bryce Harper. So Bodie lines out. 2 down. It'll bring up Addison Russell. I think the Cubs really pride themselves organizationally on position players being able to play more than one defensive position, and we know Joe loves to move guys around, and it certainly can get you here a little sooner than if you're just a one-trick pony.
If that's in your toolkit, if you're a guy who can play multiple positions, maybe you get to the big leagues a little quicker than you would otherwise. More importantly, you get a chance to stay because of your versatility.
Strike one. And a slider to Russell. Ross is the younger brother of Tyson Ross. From Oakland, California.
Hey, that would be a good before and after on Wheel of Fortune. Cicely Tyson Ross. Now they do that puzzle sometime before and after. You know Pat Sajak, right? Could you call him up?
Well, I don't know him personally. I know who he is.
I think you do. Call him up. Let him know. Okay.
Well, I said we're on everywhere today. Maybe Pat is jotting down some notes.
Oop. Bit of a hanger there. He's throwing that slider hard though, 87 miles per hour. So the uptick in the velocity with the fastball, you see it play with the slider as well. This game very similar to his brothers. Tyson is a fastball slider guy. Doesn't go soft very often. Cubs have to. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say his big league debut was against the Cubs 3 seasons ago, and Tyson was here. 1-2.
First round pick of the Padres in 2011. Traded here a big 3-team deal along with Trey Turner prior to the 2015 season.
Runner at first, 2 outs, second inning. And a 1-2 is popped behind second. And it will be the shortstop Turner. A quiet start for the Cubs bats. Middle of the second, 0-0. Speed action powered by Xfinity. This is last night in Philadelphia. Steven Strasburg up and in on Jorge Alfaro. It hit him, then it hit Matt Wieters, and then finally got Hunter Wendelstedt. That's almost as rare as what Curtis Granderson did to lead off the game last night. He hit one off the yellow rope on the basket, and it bounced twice and stayed in the ballpark. Strasburg pitched well last night as he defeated Aaron Nola. And the Phillies are really struggling right now. The Nationals are just a half game behind them for second place.
Phillies just 3 games above 500 now. The Braves have gotten themselves into a very comfortable position. They've won 5 in a row, lead that division by 7.5 now.
Right, so I said to you before the regular season started that the Braves would be the first team to clinch in the National League in terms of a division crown. You would have thought I was nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Russell will glove and throw out Rendon.
Nationals were overwhelming favorites to win this division. Experience the Budweiser bleachers in the LG porch under the video board. This private porch setting offers a unique view of the game and accommodates groups of 50 to 100. The LG porch is still available for the final 2 games of the regular season versus the Cardinals. For more information, visit Cubs.com/premier.
Now, teenage phenom Juan Soto will not turn 20 until October 25th. He has 3 homers over his last 2 games, and he just bunted one, and he is out. That ball came back up and hit him. He was outside the batter's box, and he's out. That's a rare play.
Scored 2 unassisted, and you'll get a look at it here. A drag bunt attempt by the big slugger. Comes up, hits him right in that right arm after he vacated the box. Dark clouds starting to roll overhead, but we have a
couple sprinkles too.
The forecast says it might rain, but nothing that should impact this game. I guess we're going to be skeptical given
what
transpired here last weekend.
One strike on Ryan Zimmerman. A resurgence over the last 2 seasons combined. 49 homers and an OPS just over 900 after things started to go in the opposite direction.
And he has been a beast against left-handed pitching. Slash line 387, 480, 710.
Missed 58 games earlier with a strained oblique and has a 982 on base plus slugging since his return over 40 games. Here's Montgomery's next offering, cued off the end of the bat, and Rizzo, who did not bring a change of clothes, will flip to Montgomery. More on that a little later. Yeah, that's what he wore on the plane, for real.
With the eye black, too.
With the eye black and his spikes. No score after 2. Chicago, John Lester will take the ball against the Reds. Coverage begins at 2:30, or you can stream the game live on the NBC Sports app. Reds are off today. They just won a series against the Dodgers. Here's Mike Montgomery, who has looked sharp on the mound. And the first pitch by Ross is missed on a healthy hack.
So if you're the players here today, you've got to just create your own energy. There's not a lot of buzz in the ballpark with a sparse crowd. It's like a spring training game, or maybe a spring training B game.
Fouled out of play, 0-2.
So the buzz to importance ratio is not high. It's an important game, but not a lot of energy in the ballpark, as you would expect with this makeup game.
Cubs 19-19 all time in this ballpark. Final game of the season series. Tied at 3 games apiece. 1-2 to Montgomery is hit on the ground to Rendon, who took a couple of steps to his right. And as you enjoy a cold Miller Lite, look forward to the hold a true moment later in today's game. Here's Ian Happ, another struggling Cub hitter. His last 5 games, 1 for 15 with 10 strikeouts. And he's due. And he's got his knock socks on.
Yeah, he's been working hard trying to get on top of the ball. He's vulnerable to that elevated fastball, so he's been working on trying to get on top of that pitch. It just gets caught in between a lot. You can see, you can almost feel him thinking as you watch his at-bats these days.
Foul strike. It's 1-1. Cubs hope to have Kyle Schwarber back and maybe in the lineup this weekend. He's been dealing with some back tightness. Jason Hayward still out with a hamstring.
Got him? No.
Pitch nearly hit him. Somehow it missed. 2-1. Looks like Kieboom wants a changeup, and it was a good one.
Well, that could be a real difference maker for Ross. We talked about the fastball slider combination. If he is able to execute that pitch, allow him to stick around a little bit longer. Tough to go through a lineup 3 times working with just 2 pitches, or 2 you can rely on anyway.
Sanchez out on the grass and right. Play Ian toward the other way in the outfield. And he takes ball 4. Now Rizzo again. He singled on the first pitch of the game, but was thrown out at second base trying to stretch it into a double. But yeah, he got on the plane last night wearing his full uniform and told reporters this morning that this is what he's wearing home. He does not have a change of clothes. He is ready to play.
I wouldn't want to be sitting next to him.
Yeah, the question is, will he be wearing this uniform or a fresh, clean one? I'm guessing he may change into a new uniform. Did Otis bring a home uni so he can sleep in that one and be ready for the game tomorrow night?
Well, when all is said and done, it'll be 40 games in 41 days for the Cubs, so maybe he'll just keep the uni on the whole time.
Long pause in the stretch, and Rizzo asks for time.
Robles made a nice play on him, trying to stretch that single into a double at the start of the ball game. It wasn't a reckless base running decision. A lot of times when a team's struggling to score runs, you know, that becomes the narrative. Wow, they're just pressing. That was a legitimate play, trying to get to second base on that ball towards the gap in left center. Robles just made a real nice play on him.
Zimmerman holds Happ. And Ross home, and Anthony pops it up. Turner makes the catch behind second. 2 outs in the inning, and here comes Bryant.
KB had a nice game last night, and you know, we talked about Caratini being in there, you know, kind of a fresher body. Well, same thing with Chris. What is this game? 10, 11, 12 for him coming off the disabled list. So lean on the big fella here to do some damage. Just missed a game-tying home run in the game last night.
I think we've seen some positive signs in the 11 games off the DL. A 286 average, getting on base at a 366 clip. He has a bunch of strikeouts and looking for his first home run, and is playing a lot in the outfield with Jason Hayward out, and now Kyle Schwarber as well.
It's the challenge for a manager when you're going through this. Do you try to put your best bats in the lineup so you can get a little something going offensively, or does the thinking become, well, we're having a hard time scoring runs, we're just going to try to win low-run games, pitch well, and put our best defensive team on the field? I think most guys would come down on the side of trying to just put as many bats in there as possible. Yep. Try to find the best matchups, try to kickstart a struggling offense.
Ross very deliberate with men on base. Good slider. And it's 1-1. Want to send out big happy birthday wishes to a lifelong Cub fan, Barbara Druganis of Palatine, watching the game today. Hope it's a good one, Barbara. Two and one. You mentioned this, I think, off the air yesterday, and I thought it was a really pithy comment. It really, what was a homestand, you're almost, it feels like a road trip.
Yeah,
we've just continued like a 3-week road trip.
It won't end until we get back from Arizona.
That's how it feels, because we will be back home for 3 starting tomorrow, but got to pack right up again and get ready to head to Phoenix. Runner takes off. Here's the throw by Keyboom. Out. Ooh. Now he overslid the bag, but they called him out on Sanchez's initial tag. So Joe will confirm with the video room that they got it right. Pat thinks he might have been safe.
Oh, it looked like he was going to beat it. Let's see. Catch.
Was he off the bag though when Sanchez got?
My guess is yes. It looked like he was on the kind of had come off, kind of bounced off. If the tag was applied on that right shoulder, it's hard to know for sure whether the contact was made there. Sanchez goes back to get him. Sometimes that's an indication that he feels like he missed him with that first swipe.
No challenge here. It's just probably not a good angle to show whether Hap's backside was still touching the outfield side of the bag. So that's it for the Cubs in the third. Still 0-0. On this initial tag, he was definitely out. Here's one look right there. If he got him, he's out, because Ian was definitely off the base, and that apparently is what Roberto Ortiz saw.
Yeah, it's a real tough call to make. It's because you don't have an angle where you can see where there's possible separation between the glove and Ian's shoulder. So he's got to call what he sees. You can see Ian was a little upset after the play. He thought he hadn't been tagged. And I'm with you. I think that if you're down in the video room deciding whether to try a challenge there or not, there's not enough there to convince you that the tag wasn't applied.
No, not with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. 7th inning, yes. Montgomery's 1-1 to Sanchez. Is hit in the air to center field. That is Happ. He keeps drifting, and he's got it on the track. Boy, Sanchez for a lot of power against the Cubs.
He hit 2 or 3 balls right in front of the out-of-town board in that series here last weekend. He's a guy who's not, he's not a kid. He's been around. He's got a lot of years as a minor leaguer under his belt without a lot of power, but showing a little bit of punch.
I'll bring up the catcher, Spencer Keyboom, who's done a nice job handling the running game. He's up well over 40% in terms of caught stealing percentage. He's got 1 home run. That came on Tuesday in Philadelphia in game 1 of the doubleheader. It was kind of a funny story. He had lost a temporary crown that morning, biting into a baguette, and then went on to hit his first home run. Time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. And of course, you're just sitting there, right? You stick your tongue in there and just, because it feels weird. And he hits a home run and shows his teammates, hey, I lost a tooth. I'm sure he was, that's deep center. Happ back at the wall, it's gone. That's his 2nd career home run. 2 this week for Keyboom. And the Nationals lead 1-0.
Had a 3-hit game against the Cubs last weekend. A guy who has not done a whole lot offensively to this point in his career, albeit a brief one. He's pointing at his teeth again. I don't know how many teeth that one cost him.
And that'll be his new celebration. Now is to point at his mouth. The Ford home run replay, and he really gave it a ride.
Yeah, a long way. Big part of the yard there for Keyboom. Which will have to come from behind, something they've been very good at this year. Not so much lately.
The 0-1 to the pitcher, Ross. Misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. First hit off Montgomery.
It's the 8th home run Mike has allowed this year. This is his first ever start against the Nationals. Whoop.
Low throw, no problem for Rizzo.
Mike's last start, as we mentioned, came back in Milwaukee on September 4th. He went 4 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. He walked 3, was behind in the count a lot. Just his stuff was good, his command was not. He struck out 5 in that ball game. With the roster, being expanded, all the extra arms in the bullpen, the nature of the pennant race, managers tend to go a little bit quicker to that bullpen.
Robles squared the bunt and then was put in a vulnerable spot and had to duck out of the way. Nationals look like they want to bunt today. We've seen Robles, Harper, Soto all do this. Soto did put a ball in play but was out when the ball came back up and hit him.
Yeah, it cost Harper a strike. It cost Soto an at-bat. So far, no harm to Robles, although he almost got it in the chin. 276 for Robles down at AAA this year. He stole 19 bases. He's not yet hit for a lot of power in his minor league career, but I think the Nationals are confident that will start to come.
Mike set for a 2-2. Here it is. Ooh. And it's a little low. Didn't miss by much. Three-two serve is bounced foul. Yeah, it was partly cloudy, very bright. We saw the sun peek through, but now it's mostly cloudy. Breezy afternoon. And another full count pitch. And a base hit through the hole in the left. We've talked about how hot this lineup has been, and then you contemplate it with Daniel Murphy in it. And it's amazing they weren't better earlier this season. And Daniel missed time coming back from knee surgery, but on paper,
loaded.
Yeah.
That's why.
Good read by Robles. So he'll take second on a wild pitch.
Well, Tim Bogart, the first base coach, I'm sure he told Robles when he got down there, hey, be ready to go, ball in dirt, curveball from Montgomery sometimes in the dirt, be ready to react.
Line to Rizzo. So Turner has lined out twice. Just angrily flips his bat. Batting gloves, helmet toward the dugout. 1-0 on the Keyboom homer. Show me the Chicago Cubs into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Cubs down a run after Spencer Keyboom's homer. Bryant was at the plate when Happ was caught stealing. To end the third inning. Nationals have three infielders between second and third, and Bryant takes low. Ross has allowed 1 hit. That was on the first pitch of the game. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. They're stacking the left side against the pull hitting Chris Bryant.
Especially on the ground. He almost never hits the ball on the ground to the right side of the infield, so shift makes perfect sense.
This time a pop-up that'll land in shallow right. So the shift played to his advantage, as that ball's probably caught by a second baseman if he's playing in his normal position.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Sanchez hauls that one in easily if he's playing just a straight up second base position.
Murphy with a man on, looking for his first hit this week. Nationals will align in double play position. First pitch taken for strike one.
And despite all the moves the Nationals have made here at the trade deadline and beyond, getting rid of Murphy and some of their veteran pieces, some of the bullpen guys, Gio Gonzalez traded to the Brewers, I would think they'd be pretty aggressive in the pitching department this offseason, trying to augment their rotation. That's part of the problem this year. Their starters have a 4.04 ERA, 11th best in the National League. Last year they were 3rd or 4th in that department.
We certainly don't spend teams' money for them, but a story came out yesterday about the luxury tax, and it's reported that the Red Sox and the Nationals are the only teams on track to pay the tax this year. So I don't know if that will affect what they do this winter. Now you've got pretty important free agent Bryce Harper, and you would expect the Nationals to make an offer, but
yeah, I think that they probably have an idea what they can afford to pay Bryce Harper, and my hunch is somebody else will make put a bigger number out there, and then the question is, will they pursue it? And who knows where his head is at, where he wants to play next year and for the next 10 years.
One and two to Murphy.
Ross is having a hard time seeing the signals because of Murphy's bat waggle.
Yeah, I think Keyboom's telling him that. Just the way it goes. Yeah, see how he moved?
Yeah, he's trying to.
Oh, that's great. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it happens every now and then. We had it earlier this year. Remember, somebody got upset. I can't remember the set of circumstances the Cubs were pitching or hitting, but
well, I remember the moment in Detroit. I don't know if this is what you're thinking of, when Contreras squared to bunt with nobody on base, and McCann was screened and boxed it, and then had a few words for Wilson.
No, it was this situation here, and I remember pitching it would happen from time to time. You're looking in, and the bat just keeps passing in front of your line of sight.
Just low. Well, maybe do a verbal, right? Slider, fastball, curve, slider, slider.
Yeah. Omaha, Omaha. Red, blue. They can go to a series of taps with the mask and the shin guards.
Runner on, nobody out. 2-2 to Murphy. That'll get out of play. He can be pesky with 2 strikes, fouling off pitches.
Kind of a hitting savant. He loves to hit. He loves to talk hitting. He doesn't walk a whole lot, nor does he strike out much. Takes a lot of contact, usually hard contact.
Two. He was out in front, lined it foul. Other action going on currently. They are actually trying to get a doubleheader in after only playing 1 late last night in New York. Marlins 3, Mets 2. David Wright will be activated in a couple weeks and is slated to make a start in what will probably be his final major league game. Rockies lead the Diamondbacks 5-1 in the 6th. That's a big one out west. High fly ball, left center, circling is Robles, and Bryant will head back to first.
Yeah, Cubs have had their bullpen issues of late, but more the Diamondbacks.
They've blown like 5 or 6 late leads this month already.
I believe they have a bullpen ERA of over 7 in the month of September.
Brad Boxberger recently demoted out of the closer's role. We will see the D-backs next week at Chase Field. The pitch, Baez into right. It'll get down. Fair ball. Bryant around third. He's going to be sent, and he will score. Tie ball game. Javi Baez with a double.
We've seen it quite often this year when Baez goes into a little bit of a funk. The way out of it is to start to shoot the ball the other way. And whether he was trying to go the other way or it just happened to go the other way, I'm not sure, but it sure worked. It took a little bit of a funky bounce out there. This is a fastball outer third, about thigh high. And he stays on it nicely. Kicks a little bit away from Harper, and that little difference there allows Bryant to come all the way around to score.
Couple of shots to get the lead here with a runner in scoring position. Caratini hit by a pitch in the second. 1-1 here in the fourth.
Don't know what Dave Martinez's plan is for Joe Ross here today. He's made 6 rehab starts, working his way back from surgery.
Low for a ball. After today, the Cubs will play every game but 3 in Chicago, and that includes 3 games at the White Sox next weekend. So even though they have just 1 more off day, they will spend much of their time at home.
Brewers are off today, and they have 2 more off days each of the next 2 Thursdays before the end of the year.
Favorable count for Victor. And he fouls out of play. 2-1. Clay Buchholz had to leave that game, or scratched, or I don't think he even threw a pitch. He was listed. Hearing elbow issue for Buchholz.
I don't know if that's changeup or sinker, but he had him out in front. Very good action on that pitch from Ross. He's been awfully good for them, Buchholz. Changeup.
Right elbow tightness for Buchholz. Ground ball, base hit. Cubs will get the lead. Baez is in, and Victor Caratini continues his fine work. 2-1.
Sanchez playing deep to enhance his range. Still can't get a glove on that ball. Keep it in the infield. Baez comes around to score. Caratini stays hot. One of the few guys swinging a hot bat. Comes through in a big moment in this ball game.
So Javi, after driving in his 101st run to tie Eugenio Suarez for the NL lead, scores on the Caratini hit. And we see some movement out in the Nationals bullpen as Bodie takes a slider off the outside.
Come all this way to play one game, you might as well win.
For sure.
You ever look at like Fangraphs or Baseball Prospectus? 538, they do all these playoff projections over the course of the season. They update them after every game, running all these computer simulations.
Bodie, a fly ball deep right. Harper on the warning track, has room. Caratini back to first. That is a loud second out.
Boy, second time Bodie's hit the ball really well in that direction. Nothing to show for it. This time he chases Harper all the way back to the wall before Harper can haul it in. So anyway, I was looking at that earlier today. The Cubs still, according to the computer, a 99.7% chance to make the playoffs, 70.8% chance to win the division.
That sounds about right. But I'm sure it's a lot lower than it was before that Brewers series in Milwaukee.
Yeah, well, and I remember looking a while back, and the win the division number was in the 90s, like mid 90s. The Nationals have a 1.8% chance, according to the modeling, to make the postseason.
Yeah, they have to sweep the Braves. That's the first thing. And I mean, they're only 2 games over 500, so they've got 72 losses. Even if they ran the table, that would get them to 90 wins. And you would not expect them to run the table. That would be a 21-game winning streak to end the season. Two and one to Russell. Cubs have scored twice to take a 2-1 lead. Dave Martinez and his bench coach Chip Hale. Addison went around 2-2. Although I guess the 2007 Rockies might be saying, hey guys, we won, what was it, 14 out of 15 to get into the playoffs, and something like 20 out of 21 before they got swept in the World Series. Foul territory. Zimmerman will have just enough space, and the Cubs done in the fourth, but 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 left. And it's now 2-1 for the visitors.
First pitch 7:05 and up to the first 10,000 early arriving adults 21 and over receive a Cubs drawstring hat presented by Rum Chata. Tickets still available at Cubs.com. They just concluded the president's race here. It was awfully close. TR had a little issue with the glasses, couldn't see very well. And George Washington picked up the W for the first time, and they've been doing this president's race for a while now. I'm now realizing that the number on the president's jersey corresponds with which president he was.
Sure.
Chronologically, I had not noticed that before.
So 2-1 ball game. Nationals grab the lead on the Keyboom homer in the third. Cubs got 2 RBI hits from Baez and Caratini. And by the way, Trevor Story does actually have the NL RBI lead. He has homered today, his 33rd. And knocked in a couple, so he's driven in 102. Nolan Arenado with his 34th homer. He has 100 RBIs. 5-1 Rockies over the Diamondbacks in the 7th.
The same computer models I was talking about still have the Dodgers as the favorite to win the National League West.
Dodgers are in St. Louis. Kershaw Gomber will match up this evening. 1-2 to Harper. Here comes the lefty Montgomery, and he struck him out. Harper 0 for 2. Is that the first strikeout of the game?
It's the first one for Montgomery, and it is indeed the first strikeout of the game. That'll get the boys digging.
Rendon has 39 doubles, one off the National League lead. He leads the NL since 2016 in 2 base hits. Big series against the Cubs last weekend.
How many times do you think it has happened this year. A game has gone into the bottom of the 4th inning without a strikeout.
I would venture to guess under a dozen.
I would not be shocked to find out that this is the first time that has happened.
So you're thinking
especially
maybe
in the National League.
You could count it on one hand?
I think we could.
Okay.
Rendon hits everything, velocity, off-speed stuff. It's a doubles machine.
We are efforting an answer to that question. How many games without a strikeout in the first? Are we going to say 3.5 or 3 innings?
Well, either.
Well,
I mean, I would say let's do it in line with what happened here today.
So
leading off the bottom of the 4th.
Before the bottom of the 4th, no strikeouts. Dangerous count against a dangerous hitter. Swing and a miss. Good pitch.
An aggressive swing on 3-1 for the guy who has home run power. He'll probably dial it back a little bit now that it's 3-2. He has such a quick, compact stroke. Cubs are deep in the outfield. Even KB on the outfield side, very deep in right.
It's a 1-out walk to Rendon, and it will bring up Soto.
Soto has big time power, and lefties really haven't been able to neutralize that. He's been really good against both right and left-handed pitching, not only in the batting average and on base, but the slugging department as well.
Strike called. Old Dominion bringing his best. He has tied Mel Ott for most homers by a teenager, and trailing Tony Conigliaro and his teammate Bryce Harper. We did the Cubs a big favor by bunting in the 2nd inning. Here's the 0-2, and he laid off a pitch that bounced. He's got a great idea of the strike zone. And that, with the power, leads you to believe he's going to be a superstar.
Right, and that's probably why the Nationals can afford, I don't know if that's the proper term, to not go all in on Bryce Harper and still be a good club. I mean, you're always going to be better if you have a guy like Harper on your team, but reallocate those resources, go out and get some pitching. I feel like he got enough offense to be competitive again next year. Just consider this as an outlier season.
Swing and a miss. Montgomery has struck out Harper and Soto here in the 4th. Way out in front on the breaking ball. That'll bring up Ryan Zimmerman. Rendon walked with 1 out. Now there are 2. And the 0-1 to Zimmerman. Off the outside corner. Right-hander Alec Mills up in the bullpen. Again, Mike pitching for the first time in 9 days. And he fouls away. And his spot due first in the 5th inning. So this could be a short one.
Second appearance for Mike, a second start since coming off the disabled list on August 30th.
Yeah, I talked to him after his last start in Milwaukee. Stuff was good. Had a little trouble commanding it. He has been much better at that here today so far. 1-2. Zimmerman fouls off himself.
Well, you can see on our pitch cast there, he's doing a good job staying out of the middle of the strike zone. Working that outside edge and that last cutter down and in inside corner pitch.
Two now on Zimmerman.
Rendon is not a base stealer. This year he has swiped 2 bases, been caught once.
Two, and Zimmerman just able to get a piece of a changeup.
Good pitch. Had him out in front. Just got a little piece.
The last 3 years, Zimmerman had really struggled against Cubs pitching. .250 this season with that 2-homer game and a line shot caught by David Bodie as he left his feet, lost his glasses, but ends the inning. Nicely done by an infielder, making his first major league start in left. Cubs still lead 2-1.
High school football show is back for another season. Catch High School Lights presented by Wintrust tomorrow at 11 on NBC Sports Chicago or live stream on the NBC Sports app.
Mike Montgomery will take the at bat here in the 5th. What a play by David Bodie. The ball gets by him. Rendon probably scores.
Well, we were talking about his positional flexibility earlier. He played over the course of his minor league career about 50 games in the outfield. Joe Madden has a lot of confidence in his ability to play all over the place, and the kid's not afraid.
That is a fair ball knocked down by Zimmerman. Ross will beat Montgomery to first. Good try, Mike.
That would have been handy. A little leadoff double from the pitcher's spot. Unfortunately, Zimmerman there to flag it down. Started as a shortstop, moved to third base. He's got great hands, great range. He had some throwing issues over on the other side of the diamond towards the end of his time there. Less of an issue now that he's playing first base.
Happ with a walk and a caught stealing in the 3rd. High foul fly, 0-1.
Collins, Cordero are warming up for the Nationals right now. He's making a solid contact here against Ross the last couple of innings. 3 hits, 2 runs. Last inning, Montgomery hits the ball sharply to get things started here in the 5th. So that's got them on high alert.
Two strikes to Happ. Make it 1-2. Just saw a story across the wire on CBS Sports by R.J. Anderson about Nationals assistant GM Doug Harris, who was fighting leukemia for the 2nd time. So Harris's wife Lisa created a GoFundMe page. And his treatment costs will be in the $400,000 range. They raised less than half that amount. So the Nationals are going to have an auction. One of their executives, Bob Miller, previously was in the Diamondbacks front office. He is going to auction off his 2001 World Series ring to try to help Doug Harris rather. What a gesture. The quote from Miller, "I've got memories from 2001, but the physical ring means nothing. It's sitting in a vault. I'm proud of it. I don't need it." Wow, that's what a story. Happ walks again.
Well, let's see if Davey Martinez wants Ross to deal with the top of the order for a 3rd time or not.
For now, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Pitch to Anthony. Liner caught as Robles leaves his feet. Throw to first, not in time. He's made 2 terrific plays. Both times getting Rizzo on a throw in the 1st and a diving snag here in the 5th.
Yeah, Anthony's not going to be signing up for the Robles fan club anytime soon. The big throw now, a tremendous diving catch.
Now Bryant with 2 outs.
Seems like Ross is on the ropes here. Montgomery hit the ball sharply. He walks Happ. Rizzo hits a bullet.
Ross has the sign. Long pause before the pitch, and Bryant pops it up. Zimmerman going after it, and he makes the grab. He knows this ballpark better than anybody. And had just enough room to make the play. 2-1 Cubs in the 5th. You can follow our Cubs insiders on NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media. Nationwide is on your side. Adrian Sanchez flied to the warning track in center his first time up. And a foul strike. It's 0-1. Certainly Joe Ross will be done after his 5 innings of work in his season debut. He gave up 2 runs.
Got his batting gloves on.
I think he's going to continue on.
I don't, but I'm surprised to see him with his batting gloves on.
He didn't strike out anybody. I think he and his manager will term this a successful return. Montgomery nursing a 1-run lead. And the leash is short with the pennant race in full swing. That was supposed to be toward the outside, and it leaked back over the plate. Sanchez with a base hit. We've said this many times before. It bears repeating. As you're watching from that center field shot, watch where Caratini sets up and where the pitch ends up. That usually means you missed your spot. It always does, actually. You just would rather miss in your favor.
Yeah, and that's why when you hear a pitcher after it starts, or somebody referring to a pitcher's game will say, well, he only made 2 mistakes. Typically that means he only made 2 mistakes that cost him over the course of a ball game. If you pitch 5, 6, 7 innings, you're going to miss your spot a decent amount of time, 10, 15 pitches, even when you're on top of your game, I would say.
And sometimes that, the missed location is not a foot, it's 2 inches. It's from the end of the bat to the barrel, or the handle to the barrel.
Yeah, and sometimes, a catcher will slide over the outside corner, saying the pitcher's more willing to attack the middle of the plate. So sometimes what looks like a miss is a miss based on what the catcher wanted, but the pitcher sometimes has a different idea, just in terms of how aggressive they're going to be with any pitch.
So Chris Kampka was posed the question of how many games have gone into the bottom of the 4th without a strikeout, as Joe Madden comes out. 1
today, or 1 prior to today?
1 prior to today, May 16th, Texas and Seattle. First strikeout was in the top of the 5th, and that's courtesy Elias. But this was the first time it had happened to the Cubs this season. In a game in which they participated. Mike Montgomery gets a nice ovation from the Cub fans in attendance. The bullpen in charge the rest of the day. 2-1 Cubs.
Tonight game, remember, game time has been changed. 7:05 first pitch, and up to the first 5,000 early arriving adults 21 and older in the Budweiser bleachers receive a Cubs Velcro patch cap presented by Budweiser. Bleacher tickets still available. For details, visit Cubs.com/Fridays.
It's the BioFreeze call to the pen, official external pain relief of the Chicago Cubs. Joe's not messing around here. He's bringing in one of his top relievers in the 5th inning to face Spencer Keyboom, who hit a go-ahead home run in the 3rd. Sanchez the runner at first, nobody out in the pitch. A called strike.
Yeah, you got to do things a little unconventionally. You get down towards the end of the year, you're in the middle of a pennant race, you got a 1-run lead. Jesse Chavez is comfortably inside the circle of trust. He has a 1.50 ERA since putting on a Cub uniform. Scoreless 7th inning last night through 17 pitches, allowed a hit and a walk, but no runs.
The pitcher Ross is on deck, but again, I cannot imagine a scenario with the score 2-1 where he would take the at bat unless they want him to bunt. Outfield really deep, especially. Oh, I'm not sure what happened. It hit his bat. It's a foul ball.
Yeah. Wow.
Boy, is he lucky.
I thought it hit him in the face.
Wow, is that scary? And you could see Chavez's reaction.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
So that's at least the fourth time in this game the Nationals have at least shown bunt.
2 strikes on Keyboom, and a drive to right for Bryant. Sanchez holding, and Ross will be called back, and he will be lifted for a pinch hitter. Looks like it's Andrew Stevenson off the bench. Boy, Keyboom and Sanchez, man, they've been hitting some rockets.
Stevenson has been used a lot off the bench. You see the numbers for the year: 246 batting average, not a lot of slug. He is 4 for 23 as a pinch hitter with a home run. Chavez very aggressive, throws a lot of first pitch strikes, fastballs and cutters.
Baez pulled in at third.
In the Cub uniform, Jesse has thrown 30 innings, struck out 33 batters while walking only 4. He was good with the Rangers. He's been brilliant with the Cubs.
Another miss. 3-0. Robles on deck. Looks like it's Jorge De La Rosa playing catch out in the Cubs bullpen. Strike called. 3-1. Boy, Lester Strode looks pretty cool out there, doesn't he?
What's Lester got going on?
Just that look of intensity watching the game. It's all business. Runner takes off, and a base hit right where Russell would have been. First and third with 1 out.
That's the advantage of being in a count like that. You can start the base runner. You're counting on ball 4 contact. Perfectly executed hit and run play as Stevenson slices out ball towards left center. Ball's in front of Sanchez. He sees it the whole way. No hesitation.
Cubs will play for 2 in the middle. Baez will play tight. Rizzo holding the runner at first. The pitch to Robles is fouled straight back.
Well, home run swing there on 0-0. See if he's willing to cut down on that swing to try to get this runner home from third. Punch out would be very nice here for Jesse.
Oh, and 2.
Take a couple shots out of the zone.
The pitch outside. Robles didn't even flinch. This is his 3rd start in 2018, his 20th big league game. He debuted a year ago. High fly to center. It looks deep enough. Sanchez tags, Happ's throw is cut off by Rizzo. And we've got a tie ball game in the 5th. It's 2-2. That run charge to Montgomery.
Like they're trying to work the ball in on him, maybe trying to get a ground ball to the left side. But maybe they take one more shot way up with a fastball, looking for the punch out. Robles showing a pretty quick bat there. Hands pulled in, delivers the fly ball to center field, good enough to get the tying run home.
Turner fouls away. So this game will be decided by the bullpens. Ross done after 5. Montgomery went 4+. Chavez now trying to limit the damage, and he doesn't want to face Harper with men on. He is on deck. It's 0-2 to Turner.
Well, he probably won't face Harper with men on. It'll probably be De La Rosa. But yeah, you'd rather not pass the baton to the next guy either. Well, put him in that situation.
You know, the other thing for Joe, when you go to your bullpen and you use a guy like Jesse in the 5th inning, you are projecting outs to be recorded, right? So, you know, managers don't look at their card and expect struggles. When he brought Chavez in, it was to get out of this inning. So anything less than that changes the math considerably. Stevenson runs, Turner strikes out. Chavez does eventually get through the inning, but the Nationals have tied it. It's 2-2 as we head to the 6th. Host the Pirates and celebrate Hispanic Heritage Night at Wrigley Field. All participants who purchase tickets through the Community Nights page receive a Los Cubs t-shirt. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com/Community Nights. Right back where we started, tie ball game, and left-hander Tim Collins will face Daniel Murphy here in the 6th inning.
Collins has pitched 29 times for the big club. No wins, no losses, a 3.38 ERA. You see, it's been kind of a specialty guy. 18 2/3 innings of work for the veteran left-hander who missed a couple of years due to injury. First came up with the Royals in 2011. Oh,
0-1 to Murph. We can call him Murph now, right? He's been here long enough.
Yeah, I think roll with Murph.
Everybody calls Cubs third base coach Brian Butterfield Butter. So he's just kind of known as Butter, but when you meet him for the first time, you don't want to just drop butter on him. You want to say, "Hi, Brian, nice to meet you." But nobody calls him that. It's a baseball thing.
If you think it's butter, but it's not.
I can't believe it's not butter. The 2-1. His line foul to left, out of play.
Collins, not a big guy, listed at 5'7", 170.
He is one letter away from a very nice gin drink. 2-2 on Murphy. If I ordered a Tim Collins, what would I get?
Probably a variation. You might get something. I get a weird look.
That's the slightly less popular cocktail. Strike 3 called, inside edge.
Talk about Murphy not striking out a lot. He doesn't swing and miss very much, but he got locked up by a perfectly placed inside corner fastball. Got to protect away. He's looking away. And Collins able to just clip the inside edge to get him. First strikeout recorded by the Nationals here today, and that's going to do it for the Loogie.
Baez due. Pitching change coming. Cubs 2, Nationals 2, 6th inning. Bases covered with over 400 locations and 6,300 top doctors. Book your same-day appointment at advocatehealth.com. BioFreeze call to the pen. Jimmy Cordero, a right-hander, will make his 14th appearance.
Yeah, this is his major league debut season. He is 1-2 with a 4.91 ERA. Posted a sub-2 down in the minor leagues this year.
Pretty firm at 97.
Yeah,
inside to Baez.
We saw him last weekend. Got giddy up on that heater. He can sink it. Gets a lot of balls on the ground. Curveball and changeup as well. Averaging 97 plus with the heater.
Baez in the air, deep to right. Harper watches it go. Cubs lead 3-2 in the 6th.
Comes in hard, goes out hard. Baez the other way for the second time today. 2 bases last time. Today he'll take a bigger bite. Takes all 4. Missile launched into the Nationals bullpen as if to say, you better get somebody else up.
Ford home run replay number 31 for Baez. Swing and a miss by Caratini. Well, Javi's been the Cubs' best player this year, and in these moments you ask your best to pick up the slack, and he has today with the double, the homer, 2 knocked in, 2 runs scored. Two-strike offer now. Caratini backed off the plate on a 100-mile-an-hour four-seamer. First homer in almost 2 weeks for Baez. September 2nd was his last homer in Philadelphia, as Cordero will underhand to Zimmerman. Diamondbacks bullpen getting beaten badly again today. 10-3 Rockies in the 8th inning in Colorado. That was a Kyle Freeland start for the Rockies.
Boy, he's been awfully good. Probably top 5 in the Cy Young voting, right, Freeland?
Probably. ERA at 2.96 after 6 1/3 and 3 runs allowed today. David Bodie with a big grab and left earlier to rob Zimmerman. He's hit the ball hard to right both times. Beating the Nationals with big extra base hits twice already this season.
So they do this thing here when they get to 2 strikes with 2 outs. They flash this graphic on the scoreboard. 2 strikes, 2 outs, and everybody's supposed to get all fired up. And I like the fact that it's met with indifference.
Bodie strikes out. Yeah, I never noticed it till you pointed it out last weekend.
People are like, we'll cheer when we want to cheer.
Baez with a home run, and the Cubs lead this game 3-2 in the 6th.
Out of the Chicago Cubs can be part of your next celebration, from birthday parties and corporate outings to wedding receptions and charity events. Invite Clark. Visit Cubs.com/kids for more information on bringing Clark to your event.
Well, it's easy to, I guess, express the importance of everything that happens from here on out as the Cubs lead this division by 1. But this is a big challenge today for this bullpen. And you'd love a 4 or 5 run inning here to give this team a little breather against an offense that's been very good in the second half. Bullpen trying to cover these final 4 innings. So this could be one of those signature days for a bullpen that, by and large, in the big picture, has been terrific all season.
Yeah, they've had their struggles lately for sure. An ERA, bullpen ERA up over 5 here in the month of September.
Still leading the NL in overall ERA as a relief core at 3.38.
De La Rosa's been a real nice addition. Cut loose by the Diamondbacks. Cubs signed him August 10th. He's posted a 1.76 ERA in a Cub uniform.
He's gotten some big outs. 2-1 on Harper. He pitched a scoreless 8th inning in the Cubs' 3-0 win over the Brewers on Tuesday night. Strike called, 2-2 on Harper. Baez will now shift over to the right side and play between Rizzo and Murphy. There you see the StatCast look.
He stays pretty tight to the line there.
Full count on a guy who walks a ton. Harper 0 for 2, a fly out and a strikeout. Those were against Montgomery.
And rocking a hard place for a pitcher here, a guy who takes walks, but if you just groove a fastball, he's likely to hit it 480 feet. You got to make a pitch.
He did for strike 3.
Oh, great work by De La Rosa. Went back to that split finger pitch to get the swing and miss from Harper. 0 for 3 with a couple punch outs now today. Perfectly placed, bottom of the knees.
Rendon, a ground out and a walk. Fastball low.
Steve Cishek is up in the Cubs bullpen.
Jorge, 37. Made his major league debut as a 23-year-old with Milwaukee in 2004. He's done a lot of both, relieving and starting. Had some nice years with the Rockies as part of their rotation. 16-6 in 2013 with a 3.49 ERA. Made 30 starts that year. Has not made a start in a couple of seasons.
Cubs now have a lot of options from the left side out there with the addition of De La Rosa. Jaime Garcia part of the mix. Brian Dunson came off the disabled list to join Justin Wilson and Randy Rosario.
Rendon strikes out. Back-to-back Ks for De La Rosa.
In this instance, Rendon probably thinking about that splitter, was late on the heater. Foot down, hands back, wait, and then panic. Uh-oh.
Yep.
The walk of shame.
Soto backs away. 0 for 2. It's been the bottom of the order. It's done a lot of the damage today. Boom with a home run. Sanchez, pinch hitter Stevenson with big hits as part of their run scoring fifth. This is not an easy lineup at the top and in the middle to navigate. Very wide stance by Soto. 3-0. Soto carries himself with a ton of confidence, which you almost have to do when you're 19 at this level. Bryce Harper was that way when he got here. 3-1. .37 against 19. What wins out here? Experience or phenom talent?
Going back to that split finger pitch.
On the ground, Rizzo can't get it, neither can Murphy. The ball may have fooled Anthony off the bat. He got a little bit of a late break, it appeared, and he's slow to get up. So Soto with a 2-out single.
That time the splitter was up, hit pretty sharply, but on the ground, and there was not a whole lot of room between Rizzo and Murphy, but Soto able to squeak it through.
Maybe he slipped. Yeah, he lost his footing.
Stutter step, lost his balance a little bit.
Right, watch that left foot, and he's fortunate he didn't injure himself. Steve Cishek's coming in to face Ryan Zimmerman when we come back.
Time now for our BioFreeze call to the pen, and Joe Madden wheeling and dealing here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. He'll call for the number of Steve Cishek for the 72nd time. 4-3, 234 the ERA for Steve. 65 in the 3rd innings. He's allowed just 42 hits, 5 of which have left the ballpark. That number's pretty high for him. Normally really good at keeping the ball in the yard, and over the last 10 days or so, Hasn't been quite on top of his game, or at least the results haven't been what he would like. Dangerous man here in Ryan Zimmerman.
Soto, the runner at first base. Cubs lead this game 3-2. These last 2 innings have felt like the 8th and the 9th, but it's the 5th and the 6th.
Yep, managers get involved a little earlier this time of year.
Not a huge lead by Soto. 2-0 on Zimmerman.
Got so many arms out there. I think the thinking becomes you get a high leverage situation in the middle of the game. Use your best guys to hang on to that lead and then just kind of figure it out the rest of the way. Now, Wilson Strope still available. That's probably how Joe envisions finishing this ball game.
Needed that one. 2-1.
It's a cast of thousands. Franklin Font could probably give you an inning.
Straight 2. It's 2-2 to Zimmerman.
So, Frankie. Staying with the heater.
Zimmerman has been patient here, has not taken the bat off his shoulder. Soto will be on the move here with 2 outs, and Rizzo will continue to hold him. Outfield deep. Ball 4. And Adrian Sanchez will not bat. It's going to be Wilmer Defoe instead. Defoe switch hitter. So he checks in from the left side against the righty Cishek.
And much better from this side. 260 as a left-handed batter, .165 from the right side.
Off the outside corner and a backdoor slider. Cubs lead 3-2 on Javier Baez's 31st home run in the top of this inning. That's a strike. Here comes Chris Bryant, and that will get the Cubs out of the inning. They strand 2. We go to the 7th. Cubs 3, Nationals 2. after show, join former Bears Matt Forte, Lance Briggs, and Alex Brown alongside host Lawrence Holmes after the Bears take on the Seahawks. The football after show presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, only on NBC Sports Chicago. Defoe stays in and plays second base after pinch hitting for Sanchez. Cordero to Russell, who hits one on the ground to short, and Turner unloads to first. Albert Almora Jr. in the pitcher's spot for Cishek. Strike one called.
Albert just 2 out of 27 in the pinch this year. It's a tough gig. Come off the bench, especially late in games. Guys, this kid's throwing 100 miles an hour with a nasty breaking ball.
Carl Edwards Jr.
So the more baseball I watch, the more I'm convinced that teams over pinch hit. Not only in this situation, hitting for the pitcher. Unless you've got a real extreme platoon guy out there.
Soto racing in, and he'll stay on his feet.
So say you got a right-handed pitcher out there, opposing hitters are, hitting .088 against him, and he's 38% strikeout rate. By all means, let's get a left-handed bat up there and have a competitive at bat. Or if you got a guy like Tommy La Stella, has proven to be very accomplished in that role, but it's such a tough thing to master. I think even a lesser hitter that's in the flow of the game, that's had a couple at bats, usually has a far better chance of having success than the guy coming off the bench cold.
It's an interesting point.
Yeah.
99 from Cordero to Happ. Ball one. Ian's walked twice.
And I think sometimes managers feel like, well, I've got a left-handed bat here. There's a righty on the mound. I probably should use him. That's what that's kind of the book.
1-1.
Year in and year out, league average for pinch hitters is, I don't know, around 200. We can look it up. We have the wherewithal. We have the technology.
Happ late on 98 and well located. Cubs would love to add some insurance here. Something earlier in the year they were very good at. 1 or 2 run lead turning into a 4 or 5 run advantage. And Happ hits one high in the air out into deep right center, but very playable. Harper will haul it in. 7th inning stretch time from Washington. A big one for the Cubs, and they lead 3-2. Promised earlier, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment, and Javier Baez, I would imagine, has been the subject of many, if not the most, of the Miller Lite Hold True moments.
Big moment, great moment. Chance to win a ball game here on a tough day in the midst of all this travel.
And hefty home run time as the Cubs lead this game 3-2.
They have this, well, there you go. Since the All-Star break, Rizzo and Baez have gone deep 12 times, Murphy 9, and Schwarber has hit 7. Kyle's back in Chicago, still dealing with that sore back.
And all those homers hit as a Cub for Murphy. Big outing for Carl Edwards Jr.
Yeah, overall the numbers are really good. 2.28 ERA, league bats 195 against him. Command has been suspect of late. I mean, he's never been a guy who you know, has great command of his pitches. He's a stuff guy. Big fastball with great movement, curveball. He's going to throw a changeup right here. That circle change grip, he almost never uses that.
He's going to face some pinch hitters. Speaking of our conversation earlier, Adam Eaton will bat for the catcher Keyboom, and Matt Wieters is behind him on deck. That was a t-shirt, by the way. That guy was not throwing baseballs or other hard projectiles.
Major League average for pinch hitters this year is 215. He has very good speed. Baez is even with the bag at third. Rizzo tightening up at first.
Albert Almora is playing center field. So Happ is out. That's where the pitcher's spot is now. Baez in on the grass at third. Here's a 1-0 pitch. It's a strike. Inside, 2-1. He's going to have to throw Eaton strikes, or at least pitches that appear to be, to get him here. And he does there, and it's 2-2. Caratini giving his pitchers some encouragement. Two-two fastball inside. That's a good pitch.
Yeah, just off that inside edge, that little baby cutter. Again, his stuff is so hard to hit. I mean, this situation here, he's got to be very aggressive.
Eaton with a fly ball to center, harmless. Almora makes the grab. And the switch hitting Matt Wieters pinch hitting. Center field deeper this time. Almora takes a look back, but he does not get to the wall. He does reach the warning track and makes the play. Two Nationals retired. Here's Robles. CJ's been pretty upfront about the issues he deals with in terms of repeating his mechanics. And talked to the media the other day, said you guys get writer's block every once in a while. You just can't find the right words, and you know, it happens to everybody. And then all of a sudden something clicks, you get locked in.
Well, one of the biggest challenges for a high leverage relief pitcher is to just turn the page on a bad outing. And what happens is the brain gets in the way of the body. You have a couple of bad ones. You start to think out there. You don't trust your stuff. Start to work off the plate. A lot of times what will happen is a manager will take that guy out of the heat a little bit, start to use him in lower leverage situations till he kind of gets his groove back, and then you slowly introduce him back into those higher leverage situations. 2 weeks left in the season, you don't have a whole lot of time to do that. You just got to pick a handful of guys and say, I'm going to ride you to the finish line.
Behind Robles, 3 balls and a strike. He's had a good day defensively and at the plate. 1 for 2 with a sac fly for the rookie. And fouled off to fill it up. 3-2. It's Justin Wilson in the Cubs bullpen. Two outs, nobody on, 7th inning. Cubs lead 3-2. Here's the pitch. Ball 4 on a borderline offering. That'll bring up Turner. Now, see, not all walks are created equal. That particular sequence, I mean, those were all competitive pitches, and he could have gotten a call on 3-2. That's much different than the other night when he was
when it gets into that
by 2 feet.
It starts flying open and sailing the ball up out of the zone and has a hard time reining that in. There's definitely a threat to run here, and we talk about this a lot with Carl out there. Some teams are hesitant to try to steal. They figure they might get a breaking ball in the dirt where they can advance without putting their base runner at risk. Davey Martinez may have Robles in a no-go situation here for a couple of pitches before he decides whether to turn him loose or not.
Turner 0 for 3, but that does not tell the whole story. He has lined out hard twice, once to short, the other time to first.
And he has power. He's hit 17 home runs this year. Robles is measuring a pretty aggressive lead down at first.
Not running, and the first pitch is outside. Good look at Cubs defense from behind home plate. Two 2-0. You know who is on deck. Harper. That's why Justin Wilson is ready. And a step off just to let Robles know that he's paying attention.
I would be really surprised if he went on 2-0.
He's not. Nope, delayed steal, and it worked. That's a Javier Baez-like maneuver. from Victor Robles. And what could be potentially a very big stolen base.
Yeah, shuffle go, catches everybody unaware and gets himself a stolen base. And that is explosive speed.
That is his first career steal. Two and one to Turner. Here it comes. Fouled out of play, off to the right. This all started innocently enough. Borderline 3-2 taken for ball 4. And Robles stole second. And Edwards needs to make a big pitch here to Turner.
He's going to score on any base hit to the outfield. So Cubs infielders really aren't paying a whole lot of attention to Robles. Now Murphy will cheat over a little bit just to try to tighten him up a little bit. Now, if you've got a slow-footed guy out there and you're thinking, boy, line drive to the outfield, we might have a shot at throwing him out at home, you might spend a little energy trying to tighten him up and possibly compromise your defensive position. In this situation, with his speed, he's scoring on anything to the outfield. So you don't want your infielders moving out of position to try to tighten him up.
Another 2-2, a fly ball to right, and it is slicing to the seats, and no play for Bryant. Fun matchup here. Trey Turner was a first-round pick, 13th overall. Carl Edwards was a 48th rounder. Could not get him to go after the curve.
Carl from Prosperity, South Carolina, where they're bracing for a big storm.
Yep, he's I'm sure keeping very close tabs on family and friends. The 3-2, another foul. How about this battle? And everything outer half and away to Turner.
His cut fastball, he can start it on the plate and move it off down towards the end of the bat to get weak contact.
This would be pitch number 9 in the at bat. Foul pop. Caratini will not be able to make a play.
A little bit of a lazy breaking ball there.
The next 3-2 is fouled again.
So he's got him in swing mode.
pulled to left. Trouble. It is off the wall. We're tied. Turner trying to make second, and he's in with a double. He just finished an epic at bat with a game-tying double.
Yeah, that was very impressive work by Trey Turner, and then to ultimately be able to get on top of that high fastball from Edwards. We don't see that very often. We saw a lot of pitches in this sequence. He got the foot down in time. You see that top hand really emphasizing staying on top to get through that elevated fastball.
And Joe requesting Justin Wilson to face Bryce Harper. So on the 11th pitch, Turner gets him. And we'll be back 3-3 in the 7th. Man, this inning, you hate to see the 2-out rally, but it happened after Edwards got Eaton and Wieters to fly to center. Robles walked, stole second, and then Turner on the 11th pitch doubled home Robles, and Justin Wilson will face Bryce Harper. And remember, Harper hit the big home run off Wilson Saturday night. And it's a little bit of pick your poison here with Rendon on deck. You've got first base open, so he doesn't have to give in here.
Yeah, I'm sure that was the message from Joe when he handed Justin the ball.
And there's nobody up in the bullpen right now, so this is Wilson's inning to escape. Fastball in tight on the reigning NL Player of the Week.
There are some that would say just put him on. You can't let Bryce Harper beat you. Well, you feel better if Anthony Rendon beat you. He's an elite hitter.
Runner takes off for third. Turner steals the bag. Major League leading 38. Meanwhile, 2-0 to Harper. Harper now will be intentionally passed. His Major League leading 113th walk. And it is Anthony Rendon. Might need my stomach pill, JD. We're only in the 7th inning.
Yeah, just hang on now.
Swing and a foul tip.
La Rosa struck out Rendon last time with a good fastball.
Here's his 0-1. A drive right field. It's Bryant to end the inning. Washington has tied this game again, 3-3 as we head off to the 8th.
Team together. We're talking about stolen bases, National League variety team. Milwaukee leads the way. Nationals with 103, tuck in just behind the Brewers, and Trey Turner now with 38. He leads Major League Baseball. Matt Wieters takes over behind the plate, and lefty Matt Grace is on the mound for the Washingtons. He is pitching for the 49th time, and he's been solid with a 2.73 earned run average. On a pretty good roll of late. Got to deal with Anthony Rizzo, who's 1 out of 3 here today. The parade of relievers continues.
First pitch to Rizzo, and knocked down by Zimmerman into foul ground. Anthony will reach. Infield hit. He's 2 for 4 from the leadoff spot.
Yeah, remember last time up, he hit that bullet out into right center that Robles made a heck of a play on to rob him of a base hit, perhaps extra bases. This time Zimmerman able to get leather on it, but he kind of highlights it over into the coach's box, and Anthony has himself a leadoff knock. Zimmerman having a hard time getting his feet set. Couldn't get into position to play that ball.
Now Bryant with a man on, nobody out. 8th inning.
You know, there was a play in the series here last weekend where I thought Zimmerman was a little unaware. Like he was a little more upright than he should have been. A ball hit in his direction. It took him a little while to react to it. That ball was really scalded, though.
0-1 to Bryant. The Mets hit consecutive home runs to walk off the Marlins. Game 1 of the doubleheader. Conforto and Frazier. Rockies beat the Diamondbacks. Fouled off. It's 1-2 on Bryant. Big one tonight in St. Louis. Dodgers and Cardinals start a weekend set.
Davey with the lefty Grace out there. He wants him through Murphy, and then he's got Greg Holland, the veteran right-hander, warming up now.
Second time the Cubs have had to fly back to a city to make up a game. They started the epic road trip with a win at Atlanta. Thought they were going to be off today after 23 in a row, but 2 rainouts last weekend, Friday and then Sunday. Had to play a makeup doubleheader Saturday. And that ball will get in there. And Rizzo will stop at second base. First and second with nobody out.
Second hit for Chris Bryant today. He's not tearing the cover off the ball, but he's managed to find the outfield grass a couple of times. Yeah, the Cubs would have preferred that this game not be made up today, that it would be played at the end of the regular season, quote unquote, if necessary. That would create a little scheduling snafu as well, too, if they were end up tied for the division lead, and you have to have a playoff game for that. Then you'd have to have the wild card game, and so MLB decided that this needed to be played today.
Murphy looks at a strike. Yeah, inconvenient for both teams, but you got to get them in as many as you can. Been a hard-fought afternoon into the early evening hours. Cubs with a golden opportunity here. Little jam shot roller. Throw goes to the pitcher, and he just beat Murphy. So that'll play like a sac bunt, even though that was far from his intent. Second and third for Baez. And Davey might just walk him. And he does. And it will bring up Victor Caratini with the bases loaded. And you remember what he did on Saturday, his first career grand slam.
Yeah, 2 ways Davey could have played it here. This is probably the way most guys would do it. Just put Baez on, set up a potential double play with Caratini. He could have brought Holland in for Baez and, you know, tried to work off the play with that slider and see if he could get some chases. Here's what Victor did last week.
That bat flip never gets old.
But it looks like he's not going to get this AB.
Nope, it will be David Bodie instead. Or check that. Bodie on deck. Contreras instead for Victor. So Joe likes Contreras better than right-handed Caratini, and here comes Davey.
The wheels on the bus go round and round. Everybody grinding, including the managers.
Pitching change, 8th inning. Cubs threatening in a tie ball game. And veteran Greg Holland, bases loaded, 1 out, tie game, facing pinch hitter Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, the number's not good overall. They were just dismal with St. Louis. They're outstanding since joining the Nationals. 0.56 ERA, 18 appearances in a Nationals uniform.
He's been busy here of late. Infield in part way, and the first pitch misses low on a slider, low and outside to Contreras.
Typically, you're going to see a high percentage of sliders from Holland. That was a softer curveball as well.
Here it is. Strike called. Fastball 94. Lead man Rizzo at third. Bryant at second. Baez at first. 2 singles and an intentional walk. The 1-1. Yep, hard to figure out relievers sometimes. Putting together an awful season with the Cardinals and has been absolutely lights out with the Nationals. Two and two.
Yeah, and I talked about it with Edwards earlier. Just you pitch in high leverage situations. If you have a couple things go wrong, you start to struggle a little bit. It can snowball on you. And so change the scenery, clear the mind, fresh start.
And Holland has been around the block a few times. 189 Major League saves. Led the National League with 41 last year. Big 2-2. He struck him out. A challenge fastball gets Contreras.
A nice complimentary pitch to that down and away slider, the elevated fastball. Very enticing, hard to get on top of. It made Turner's double off of Edwards so impressive.
And now no Bodie. It will be Zobrist to bat for Bodie.
Peters wants to discuss Zobrist with his right-hander Holland, who was the comeback player of the year in the National League last year. If they gave that award for an in-season turnaround, he would qualify again this year with this dramatic change since joining the Nationals.
And if you keep track of mound visits at home, that does not count as one because of the announcement of the pinch hitter.
And if you're talking about the comeback player of the year in the National League for 2018, the man in the batter's box, a worthy candidate.
About 80 points better in terms of his batting average. Zobrist out in front. Oh, the Cubs with the first 2 men on, with Murphy coming up. Now 2 outs, bases loaded. Trying to convert.
These guys won a World Series together with the Kansas City Royals.
Three tie, 8th inning. Well, Zobrist with a 2-strike hit off Josh Hader last night. Let's see what he can do left-handed versus Greg Holland. He strikes out. Holland comes in. and gets the Nationals out of the 8th inning. It's a big miss by the Cubs. They lead 3. September 25th, the Cubs welcome students, alumni, and fans of the Big Ten. Fans who buy tickets through the Community Nights page get a special edition Cubs fleece blanket in your favorite Big Ten schools' colors. To purchase seats, it's Cubs.com/Community Nights. Changes here for the Cubs. Terrence Gore now playing left field. Wilson Contreras, after pinch hitting, will catch. And southpaw Brian Dunsing will pitch. Trying to keep this game tied.
Yeah.
Foul strike on Juan Soto.
Well, Brian came into the ball game last night, worked a third of an inning, allowed a hit. A couple of inherited runners came home. Just kind of a soft little ground ball through the left side of the infield. He's not had many opportunities since coming off the disabled list. But again, Joe, he's kind of probing, just searching, trying to find guys who can get locked in out there.
Soto with a bullet to Bryant.
Man.
That's fortunate.
I don't know, a quarter of an inch lower on the baseball, that thing probably goes 475 feet.
Exit velocity had to be pretty high, but it's just an out. 111 off the bat. Here's Pedro Strop. We'll be back. Referee's call to the pen, and it's Pedro Strop, who has been the top option as closer with Brandon Morrow out. He's trying to save a tie here in the 8th inning facing Ryan Zimmerman.
Yeah, unusual circumstances leads to unusual bullpen usage. That certainly is the case here with Strop coming into a tie game on the road in the 8th.
First pitch strike. Cubs have used 20 players so far. The Nationals 17. Bounce to third. Backpedaling is Baez, and the throw to first is in time. A little bit of a risk to play that ball back, but he knew he had time with Zimmerman running.
And with one of the best arms in the game, he just kind of sets his feet and steams that throw across.
Wilmer Defoe flied out as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning. He is now playing second, and a comeback base hit into center.
Strop, the 13th pitcher to work in this game, so 11 guys coming out of the bullpen combined. Just Chavez and Cordero, the only ones to pitch at least one full inning.
Mark Reynolds. Runner at first, 2 outs, ball 1.
Nationals closer Sean Doolittle warming up.
Yeah, start crossing names off the bullpen lists, and they still have half their pens available. A 1-1 count on Reynolds. The lights have been on since we started, just after 4 o'clock local time, and they're now starting to take effect. Two and one. Reynolds is usually never thinking soft serve one into right center. He's thinking hit one 500 feet to left. He will walk and he will strike out a lot.
Yeah, he normally stays big even with 2 strikes. You're right. He's not choking up trying to poke a single the other way. It's not how he's earned his money over these many years.
Strike 3 called on a fastball from Strop. And that will get us into the 9th inning in a tie ball game from DC.
Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Cubs home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
Sean Doolittle takes the bullpen cart when he enters the game. Recently came off the DL. And the Nationals closer will pitch in a 3-3 tie.
Pretty simple approach as you peruse the numbers. 23 saves, 24 tries, a 1.62 ERA, a high percentage of fastballs at the top and above the strike zone.
Missed 2 months with a toe injury on his left foot, and a pitch to Russell is high for ball one. One thing to consider in terms of Joe and his bench today. He used Ben Zobrist to pinch hit. Ben did not stay in the game. Instead, it was Terrence Gore to play left. And if you're wondering why, I think the reason is basically he wanted to give Zoe a day off. So just give me one at bat. Because during this stretch without off days, it's hard to find rest for his top guys. To Russell, fouled. Now 2-1. He had a good pass at it. Two and two. Very defensive, trying to get out of the way swing.
But and you go into an at bat against Doolittle telling yourself, make sure you get the ball down. Get the ball down. But as we say so often, it comes out of his hand. You see it early. It looks good. You want to attack. So you're always in that should I go or not mode with that high fastball.
On the ground, right to Rendon. He slings to Zimmerman.
Doolittle's got a good fastball. He doesn't have a Josh Hader fastball, who we saw at 97, 98 in that series in Chicago. Doolittle sits at 94. He does have a slider and a changeup, but he just doesn't use them very often. Now Albert is a guy who's pretty adept on getting on top of that high fastball. So he goes changeup. Doolittle's been paying attention to the scouting report.
A 2-0 start on his second consecutive batter. Here comes Turner, sets his feet, bobbled it. An error on Turner. Almora's aboard. And pretty decent chance Terrence Gore is going to bunt.
Now you kind of wish Terrence Gore hadn't entered the game because you could run him for Almora. I don't know that you would want to take Albert out of the game defensively now as you're getting somewhat short on players.
Not a gambling man, but if I were, I'd say bunt. I'm not saying I would. I'm saying I think that's what he's going to do. And he squares and takes high. Actually, I'm saying I would with his speed. At least get Albert to second, and maybe even more.
Yeah, normally you don't think bunt in this situation with one out already, but Gore just hasn't done much with the bat as a big leaguer. He's got his first career hit the other day.
That was off Max Scherzer.
And you know, anything on the ground, even if they're reading and anticipating bunt with his speed, it's still going to be a challenging play if he gets it down. It's a big if. Tough to get that high fastball down on the ground.
Popped up. Double play. Oh, man. Worst case scenario just occurred, and that takes the Cubs out of the 9th inning. Still 3-3. Cubs, Harvey Hamels tomorrow night. Again, that's a 7:05 first pitch. Lefties on Saturday, Reed, Lester. Cubs actually all left-handed this weekend, and Luis Castillo and Jose Quintana.
Cubs with the favorable pitching matchups all weekend long. Castillo kid's been throwing the ball really well lately for Cincinnati. But first things first, got to find a way to win a ball game here in Washington.
Strop to Wieters in a battle of former Orioles. Ball one on a slider. Yep, got to get this game down to extras. Yank foul.
Came off the bench in the 7th. They hit a pretty deep drive to center field that Almora was able to run under.
Baez from third base. One out here in the bottom of the 9th, and it brings up Robles. Key walk in the 7th, stole a base, his first in the majors, scored the tying run on the Turner double. He went. That's a strike. Critical game for the Cubs. Quick pitch and low and outside. Probably doesn't mean much for the Nationals, but they are shooting for their 6th consecutive win. Very faint playoff hopes. 8 back in the division, 7 out in the wild card. Baez in at third. The 1-2 is popped up Rizzo ranging into foul territory for out number 2. Strope to Trey Turner. Strike 1.
One out of 4 for Turner today, but he's hit the ball right on the button 3 times. Whoop. Bullpen's currently quiet.
For the first time in a while. Good slider. 1 and 2. He swings and misses, and he's going to reach. Strikeout, wild pitch.
Quick pitches him, gets the swing. Contreras can't handle the slider away, and now you got the best base stealer in the game.
One of the best hitters. You think Turner will be aggressive early, or will?
Well, I didn't think Robles would run 2-0, and that's when he did the delayed steal.
Turner does not run, and the pitch is wide. Bottom 9, 3-3.
He runs, he takes the bat out of Harper's hands.
Fly ball to left. It's Terrence Gore. And we will head to the 10th inning. It's the Cubs 3 and the Nationals 3. AT&T Entertainment, official sponsor of Extra Innings. Tenth inning, it's 3-3, each team with 7 hits. Sean Doolittle will continue, facing the top of the Cubs order.
Anthony's been good today. 2 hits, could easily have a third.
Two for 4 from the leadoff spot. Joe tweaking the lineup with the Cubs struggling offensively. Anthony had gone 0 for 16 over his previous 5 games before today. That elixir is the leadoff spot, it seems, for him, and he just hit a line shot to Defoe for the first out. Horrible luck.
Yeah, second time he has lined out this afternoon. Robles got him back in the 5th. And this one scalded right at Defoe. Such is baseball.
Bryant has 2 hits as well and scored in the 4th inning. Fastball strike. That gets by everybody. Skies have looked a little iffy the last few innings, but so far so good. Randy Rosario, the lefty, is up. Excellent work by Pedro Strop tonight.
He's forcing it a little bit here today. Ball is not real clean coming out of his hand. A little an all-star this year for the 2nd time in his career. Also made the all-star team in 2014 with Oakland.
Foul strike. Out into left center and down. And he's going to try for 2, and he is going to make it. Little drop out there by Soto. I don't think it would have made a difference.
Third hit of the day for KB. First 2 weren't hit all that sharply. This one was. He got on top of that high fastball from Doolittle. He had 2 bases on his mind the whole time going down the line. And then with the mishandle by Soto, it made it that much easier.
Murphy is overdue. Toward the middle. And knocked down only by Defoe. Throw to third. Bryant back in. Defoe couldn't handle it, and the Cubs have him at the corners.
Well, nothing wrong with accepting a little charity.
And the batter is Javier Baez. First a visit from Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach. So an error by Turner in the 9th, Defoe here in the 10th.
Yeah, and it's one thing, you know, if you got a speedy guy going down the line and you really have to hurry to make that play, more understandable. Murphy does not run well.
Maybe that's Coda Glover. Yep. Middle guys in halfway. Corner men about even with a bag, including Zimmerman holding Murphy. Baez fouls off.
And he'll start there and he'll just climb the ladder with that fastball, try to get Javi to chase, maybe take a shot down with the changeup at some point. But I think his thinking is going to be he's all in on the punch out on elevated fastball.
Bunted, and it's going to work. Cubs lead 4-3. Javier Baez comes through again.
Well, that's just a great call by Joe Madden. He loves the safety squeeze. He loves Baez's ability to get it down. You know, the big swing might not get to that high pitch, but a bunt from a guy like Baez is so clever with his bat in his hands. You see, Brian, a little bit of a hesitation as the ball's airborne. And once he realizes it's going to get down, he streaks home with a go-ahead run.
A perfectly placed bunt. Cubs lead 4-3 in the 10th. Dave Martinez makes a move, and we are back after the break. And it is Javier Baez once again today. RBI double fourth. That gave the Cubs the lead. Home run in the 6th gave the Cubs the lead. A bunt single in the 10th gave the Cubs the lead. Sean Doolittle tipping his cap figuratively to Baez. Benny's Beverage Depot is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs, and another BioFreeze call to the pen brings on Coda Glover.
Right-hander works for the 17th time, 2.84 his ERA. So what you're saying is Baez, his win probability added, took a big jump today with his performance. Doing it with the long ball and then the short game.
Actually, his double in the 4th tied the game. Home run in the 6th gave the Cubs the lead. And then the lead bunt hit here in the 10th. So 2 go-ahead RBIs today. Contreras takes outside. Runners at first and second. A 1-run advantage. And it looks like it will be Randy Rosario in the bottom of this inning.
Timmy LaStella's out on deck for Strop. You'd love to give Randy a little wiggle room.
Glover's 1-1. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, Wilson came off the bench to bat for Victor Caratini in the 8th with the bases loaded and 1 out, and Greg Holland struck him out. So a chance at a little redemption here for Wilson. Got a hitter's count.
The 3-1 swing and a miss. Looking ahead, if I may. Rosario will face Rendon, Soto, and Zimmerman. Not easy. That's why you'd like these add-ons. Oh, that's a balk. Unless, did he step off first?
Off, yeah.
He did. Okay. Pulled his foot back off the rubber and then faked to first. Yep, he did. Quick feet. Good catch. Runners take off. Ball 4 to load the bases.
Strop going to hit?
It will be Strop and not LaStella. So I guess Joe's thought here is I want to have Pedro to pitch.
Randy Rosario's heart rate probably just went down a little bit.
Well, this could end up being an epic game for Pedro Strop, who came in to pitch with 1 out in the 8th inning.
Well, again, we've talked about it all day. September baseball in the heat of a pennant race. You ask a little bit more from your guys. Strop has not been used a lot lately. Putting his work in here today. Infield in. Strop, a former minor league infielder.
And one of the reasons he's not an infielder anymore is he couldn't hit. But he gladly admitted it.
He hit well enough to get signed.
Yes. And by the way, he has never gotten more than 6 outs in a big league game. He's going to apparently try to do that here today. Infield in, bases loaded. Swing and a miss. The guys who can't hit get hits all the time. You see pitchers who hit 046 come up with base hits. Well, you just don't want them to hit into a double play. That would be the worst case. Ground ball. They'll get 1. And they just got 2, and Strop is hobbling. Worst case scenario, let me restate, would be a double play and an injury. Joe will immediately call for the replay. He's going to challenge the play, and Strop is hobbling, and that is terrible.
He hit the ball sharply, and Wieters took a lot of time at home plate before making this throw to first base.
Looked like on the landing on the bag, the left foot or leg. So they are looking at the call in New York, but the biggest question is Pedro Strop's health.
Wow, that is eyelash close. Hamstring.
Ugh.
Yeah, and it may have happened to his last couple of strides there before hitting the base did not look comfortable.
This is terrible news. Because you're concerned about today and beyond, more importantly, and they're going to uphold the call. So we will go to the bottom of the 10th, and it will be Randy Rosario after all. And what a wild game. The Cubs lead 4-3. Will try to save the game. Pedro Strop, the pitcher of record. Pedro leaving due to what appears to be a left hamstring injury. And Randy will try to notch what can be an enormous save.
Yeah, how about that? You know, when they decided to keep Strop in the game, I mentioned how his heart rate probably settled down, and obviously it spiked once Pedro crossed first base limping. Rosario comes into an extreme high leverage situation. He's done a nice job. He's been cool under duress here in his rookie year. Very talented hitters to deal with. Rendon, Soto, Zimmerman. Worked a scoreless 6th in the ball game last night. He has 2 professional saves, both at the minor league level, one at Double-A last year and Class A ball the year before.
Now you can hand me my stomach pill.
Yeah. Well, not exactly Mike Montgomery getting his first career save in Game 7 of a World Series, but you get the idea.
First pitch to Rendon. Borderline, and Randy didn't get the call. There's no guarantee he's going to finish this inning or finish this win. There are 2 guys up in the bullpen. Joe will mix and match as needed. Mills and Garcia. Popped up. Right side. Rizzo and Murphy, and it's Anthony for the first out.
Well, that's huge. That allows Rosario to take a little bit of a breather.
April 10th, I say to you, on September 13th with a one-game lead, Randy Rosario will be pitching in a safe spot, and Alec Mills and Jaime Garcia are loosening in the Cubs pen in the 10th inning.
First, the follow-up question, of course, would be Rosario. That was a kid we saw a little bit in spring training, right? Yeah, we don't know much about him.
Soto with one out. The ebbs and flows of a big league season.
Soto smothered the ball last time, just scalded it for a line out to right.
He slugs higher against lefties than righties. 7 of his 19 have been off lefties. So while you can never say a 19-year-old is a finished product, he's about as close to it as it gets at that age. Bad miss, 3-0.
Probably Mills for Zimmerman, regardless of what happens here.
Three and one. It has been quite a ball game, a makeup game after a rainout Sunday. Both teams coming back to DC just for this one. Cubs back home tomorrow night. Nationals fly to Atlanta. On the ground, Murphy, 2 down.
No movement yet from the Cubs dugout. It's tough to navigate your way through this for the manager when you don't, you're relying on guys you don't normally have out there in these critical situations.
Two outs, nobody aboard. Bottom of the 10th. In a 4-3 ball game, Cubs grab the lead on a bunt single by Javier Baez. Strike one. Strike two.
Oh, nice.
Here's a pitch. 1-2.
Ooh, 95. Rosario amped up, really cutting it loose. Cubs took the lead in the 4th. Nationals tied it in the 5th. Cubs took the lead in the 6th. Nationals tied it in the 7th.
The kick and the 1-2 is way off the inside. And a cutting fastball.
Zimmerman has had many magic moments in this ballpark. Bunch of walk-off home runs.
Including one in the first ever game here at Nationals Park. Stands way off the plate. Asks for time. Wilmer Defoe on deck. Swing and a miss. Cubs win. Woo! 4-3 in 10 innings. They've got a game and a half lead now in the division, and we're heading home.
Well, about 3.5 hours ago, said if you're going to come all this way to play, you might as well win, and the Cubs pull it off. Unconventional, to say the least. They used a platoon worth of relief pitching here today, and finally outlast the Nationals 4-3 with, of course, Randy Rosario out there to finish it off.
Certainly concerned about Pedro Strop, but the Cubs can smile that they flew all the way back to D.C. and picked up a critical win. 85-61 on the year. They take 4 out of 7 against the Nationals. And Randy Rosario with a huge first career save. The Corona updated.